Talkin Money. Talkin Money.
Let's rejoin your host, Jeff Tarbell, and Talkin Money.
Right. Your disco-loving, limp-wristed geek. Live, 339-1140. 1-800-920-1140. I don't know if I can get all that on a business card or not, but we do have a quiz question here, and we're going to give away, actually we'll give away 2 winners to the Hellwig winery. And let me just give you a little background, because our phone screener said people don't know where Hellwig is or what you're talking about, which is how most of the show is. They don't know what the hell you're talking about,
no idea what
or how you got on air, or why you are even here. But beyond the obvious, and I actually had a conversation with the owner of Hellwig this week, and he was actually talking about, calling me about marketing. He said, what have you done? And they're newer to the area and the industry, and not to the industry, but to the area and to marketing. And their challenge, he said, was that everybody knows Napa, wine Napa wine. It's everybody knows about Napa, but and he said, how do we get people to know about Amador? And I said, first off, you have to tell people where Amador is, because
my wife grew up.
Yeah, I mean, to get from Sacramento or Placer, El Dorado County to Amador is one road, and it's less than an hour depending which way you go. It's so pathetically easy to get there, but it's not one of those areas you don't drive through Jackson on your way to somewhere. You have to be going to Jackson. So Amador County is just south of El Dorado. I always go out Latrobe Road, because when I usually go out there, I'm usually riding my Folsom Lake Harley or riding, or going out on a ride, which is a great road for a ride. Not the best if you're going out in a tour bus. We took a group out there. That's not the best. You can go out South Sunrise. Hazel dies into the military base, or South Watt, and get out to Highway. Is it 16?
16.
Yeah, Highway 16 going to Jackson. So it is. It's just a straight shot. In the Amador, it is not. It's for all of us in our area here, the Sacramento, Placer, El Dorado, hell of a lot closer than Napa. Than they're trying to go down there.
Beautiful out there,
and it is just so laid back, so relaxing. And I'm new to the whole wine thing. I'm not a big wine, but I've been out there a bunch with my wife and friends. And I'm told you go to Napa and they charge you $20 or $40 a wine taste. I show up in Amador, and I usually go out there. I'm usually riding my bike, so I don't wine taste. And I'm out there picking up some wines for friends or Kim, or just riding. And you walk right in the door. I mean, the glass is already poured. I'm like, I'm a buyer, not a shopper. But I mean, they're just a bunch of they're a bunch of old farm boys, men and women, who had a bunch of farms out there, and they got together and they're starting to build a phenomenal wine. So it's very, very close. And what's very, very interesting about, and I don't know how Napa is, and maybe I just come from a different business world where everybody's the bad guy if they're not with you, but you go out to one of those wines, and if they're out of something, or you just say, hey, I'm looking for a certain varietal. Well, we've got that, but I got to tell you, this other farm over here, they're probably the best in the Barbera. You just got to go there. And it's like, you just sent me to one of your competitors. They're like, nah, that's Billy. I mean, my dad and his dad were buddies, and they've been out here forever. So they just want you to be out there. And so Hellwig is the newest of the group. And as I was telling the owner the other day, it is going to be the place where people come to stop, because it is such a I don't even know how to describe the construction of their buildings. If I were going to build another place, either like down by the river, up in the mountains, I would copy whatever they did on that building and do it exactly that way. It is just such a cool place. Sits up on the knoll. You can see the coastal range and the Sierra Range from the same spot. You can bring your lunch up there, and it's just a very cool place to hang out, even if you're not a wine person. And I wouldn't consider myself a wine person, really. But just to get out for a motorcycle ride or a car ride, and we came across this couple that were in this cool old 60s top-down Camaro. They were probably, I mean, it was foursome. They were probably in their early 70s. They were out cruising at it. So there's all kinds of places, and Hellwig is one of them. And so on Friday nights they have some small little concerts inside, and they're going to come out with a very cool Saturday concert series coming up. So if you want to just get out, get a little drive out there. I'll tell you what we'll do. John will give out a quiz question here. We'll give the first 2 callers that get this right, give you a gift certificate to the Hellwig Winery that night on a Friday night, and go there to their concerts, have a little bit of wine, check it out. So 339-1140, 1-800-920-1140, or you can text me at 44-1140. And our quiz question is...
So we're going to TV. This is cable TV. What is the number... How are we going to do it? Let's see. What is the number 1 and 2 top cable spots for viewers at 5.4 million and 5.2 million this past week.
So same show brought in the number 1 and the number 2 spot on cable with over 5 million viewers each. And I think it was like back to back. Like one was a 1 hour, the next was the next half an hour behind.
Yep.
So back to back. So which TV show, and I love this show, absolutely love it, is ranked number 1 and 2 on cable last week with over 5 million viewers for each half hour.
Yes.
That's a lot of people for
Big
cable.
numbers.
I mean, that's huge for cable. So 339-1140, 1-800-920-1140, or you can text us at 44-1140. Okay, I'm going to stop reading the 530's text now. He's just picking on me. He says, drumming in a band, an Anne Murray cover band with your skating gang doesn't paint the manliest picture of you. I don't know who Anne Murray is. So I do, but I'm not going to pretend. So if you know the answer to that, 44-1140, you can text us. The cable show, same show, ranked number 1 and number 2 last week with over 5 million viewers apiece. And we'll give the first 2 winners of that, Hellwig Winery, and I think it's hellwigwinery.com if you want to check them out online. So do that. We are going to do a little bit of a serious discussion. Oh, not so serious. But I did see, this was out of the Sacramento newspaper this week. Home prices turn up again. March hike is the first since 2010 when the buyer tax credit ended. So we're seeing not a huge increase, but in March, Sacramento County saw a 1.3% increase in the median resale price of detached single-family homes compared with March 2011. And we are seeing that also.
Yes.
And the challenge that we are having, NCIS, that's broadcast TV, right? Yeah, this is cable now, not all TV, just cable. Probably beats out most of the broadcast anyway, but this is our quiz question is for cable TV.
No, NCIS is actually on the list.
Oh, it is. Okay, it's cable. So they are on the where did they rank, by the way?
10.
They were number 10?
Number 10.
Okay. So my apologies from the 916. NCIS is cable. They were number 10 on the list. So we're looking for the number 1 and 2, which is the same show. Okay. The median price rose from $160 a year ago to $162 in Sacramento County. Single family detached, no condos in that list. Here's the challenge I think we're going to have. We have 2 challenges with prices going up. First of all, you have the buyer mentality, which is if John puts his house in the market for $150,000, I naturally want to offer him $140 because I feel like that's what I should do, right? I mean, why should I give him what he's asking for? And John may have gone through all the market, priced it out, and $150 could be the exact right price. I still feel obligated to offer him $140 because I think I need to get a deal. So part of our mindset as buyers is going to have to be at some point in time, I'm going to have to pay more than the last guy paid if I want that house. And actually, that time is now. I mean, that's already happening. You just, as a home buyer, have to come to that conclusion in your own mind. First off, that if I want this house, if John's got his house on the market for $150 or $250, then I'm not the only guy looking in that price range right now. Everybody's looking in that price range right now. Brian in there is looking for rental properties. He's got all cash. Okay, Marge is looking to downsize. She's got a boatload of money down, and I'm the first-time buyer, and I want to buy. We all want to buy John's house at $150. So Brian offers him $145 cash. Marge offers him $150 with 30% down, and and no loan. She already sold her house, so she's ready to go. And I walk in the door, and I'm doing FHA, and I've got 3.5% down. So I'm the weakest, theoretically, of the offers that came in. So I may have to offer John $155. Just to give him a little incentive, to deal with me. Mm-hmm. It's going to take me a couple, 3 weeks to get my loan together. She's got 30% down. She'll get a loan, no problem. He's got all cash. He'll be out of there in 5 minutes. So John's got a struggle on his hands. He's like, I can take Brian's $145 cash and be gone 15 days, or I'm going to sit around and deal with Jeff, for the next and make an extra $10,000. So that's one decision. So you're gonna, so me as the buyer are gonna have to say, I got to give him some reason to want to deal with me. And in my own mind, I got to say, you know what? I got to be willing to pay $155. And I had this happen this week. We had a house that was a similar situation, and they were buying a property, and the property did not appraise for what they were offering. And both myself and the realtor told them, you know what? Disregard the appraisal for just a minute, because what the appraisal has said is that in the past nobody's paid $150 for this house. But look at the reality where you were. You guys bid on this house, and this is a real life example. There was 5 of you bidding on this house. and all of you were willing to pay 160, you were lucky to get the deal. So the house, in my opinion, is worth 160. It's what someone's willing and able to pay for it. It isn't what the last guy sold for it was. Now, the appraisal came in at 150. These people were putting down 30% anyway. It did not affect their ability to get a loan. They could still get the loan. But in their own mind, they thought, oh, we're overpaying. You know, the house only appraised.
They're getting what they want.
They're getting, right, they're getting what they want. And then you got to take into consideration another thing. A lot of the stuff that's being sold right now, the comps that we're using are a quick, maybe a short sale if you're lucky, a foreclosure, these type of properties. This house, in this particular instance, was in phenomenal condition. They were going to buy it as an investment property, move-in condition. I mean, just literally close, take your tenant, Brian, put him in the property, you're off and running. There's a huge advantage to that of not having to, A, wait around to find a tenant for it, and B, do any work to it. You know, the TLC work, because you can blow 10 grand in 5 seconds, right? So you have to put, you know, so, and everybody was frustrated because even the appraiser was frustrated. The appraiser had sent a message back to their management company saying, we know this house is worth 160.
But there's no comps to support it.
And we know if we put 160 on there, the underwriters, no matter where they are going to come back and say, wait a minute, you just showed me 4 houses that were 150. How could you say it's worth 160? But so the appraiser was stuck. The realtor knew it was worth 160. It was 4 other people outbidding him.
Yeah.
The buyer was a little bit, it just put them enough to put them over a little bit. Now they're going to kind of start over again.
That's what's going to start bringing prices up, though, because somebody's going to pay the extra 10 grand or 5 grand or 15,000 to get the property they want that's clean and neat, and then the next sale will go, and the next sale, and it just kind of catapults itself.
It's a trickle up effect.
Yes, absolutely.
So if you are, my point is this: if you're a buyer, and it's very difficult. Now, had that buyer been an FHA buyer with minimal funds, they would not have been able to buy that house, because we would have made our loan amount based off the 150 appraisal. They would have had to come in with the $10,000 extra. They didn't have it. But in a situation where you're putting down 20 or 30% down, you can make it work and make it happen. So speaking of rental properties, I'm talking to John. I'm not even paying attention to the phone here. Did we get a winner yet off our quiz? Dave got it right. Okay, so we'll get that out here in a minute. Let's get to Kim.
It is very difficult.
Hello? Kim, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay, Kim, turn your radio down. We'll go for it. What's happening?
Yeah, it's off. Hey, I have a rental property I bought in 2007 at an auction. I didn't get a bad price on it. I'm kind of upside down, but not too bad. The loans are adjustable. I have 2 of them. The first one comes at 7.5, and it's going to probably adjust to like 5. So that's the good part. The second part, I didn't realize, but it has a balloon payment on it.
Okay.
Which is due in July here. And so I got a hold of the Wells Fargo people, and they talked to them, and they came back at the best rate they could give me is almost 10% for 20 years.
Wow. So
I know.
Is it a true balloon, which means the loan is actually being called due, or is it?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, I know. Takes 2 people to have a loan like that, one to sign it and one to give it to you.
Well, I appreciate the self-responsibility there, Kim. You might be in fact, I'm going to give Kim his choice of our president just for saying, you know what, hey, I screwed up and it was on me. So I appreciate that, honestly. So is that house upside down?
Yeah, I probably owe $200,000. It's probably worth $170.
Okay, so has Wells Fargo figured that out also, that if they don't extend you the loan, they're going to get a house back and lose some money on it? I mean, do they know that it's upside down?
Well, they're Wells Fargo. I never asked them that question, but
okay.
Everybody's got to know their own business.
Well, you're giving a lot of credit to someone who might, you're dealing with who knows what level of expertise they have there at the beginning point. If it were me, I would pull together, if you have a contact person there you've been dealing with, I would pull together some comps. So either go to Zillow or whatever you got to do.
Right.
And I'd fax them or scan them to them and say, hey, look at this. If we can't come to a deal here, you guys lose 30 to 50 grand. I'm willing to stick with a house that's upside down. Don't bend me over for 10% for the next 20 years, because that's going to that is never going to pencil out for you. So right. All that's going to do is cause you pain over the next. You might as well just cut bait now. I mean, if that's going to kill the deal. Right. So but they may not be aware that, hey, if we get this house back, we, the bank, are going to be out, 30 or 40% on this deal, and that may not be very palatable to them either. They can do whatever they want to do. They could make that rate 1% if they want to make it because it's on their books.
Yeah. And we've seen a lot over the past couple of weeks of these balloons happening more and more, and I haven't heard double-digit rates at all.
No, that sounds high to me.
It was like, well, first they were going to give me a 15-year at 8.75, say. I said, nah, that ain't going to work for me, dude.
Yeah.
Like you, if I'm going to cut my losses, let's do it today.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, and there are some advantages to doing that in this calendar year. Also, there's some forgiveness. I know, Brian. We got to take a break. Kim, I'm going to put you back on hold. We're gonna get you out a prize for being honest with us about your. We did get a winner to our quiz question. We'll do that when we come back. We'll cover that as well. If you want to jump in, you got some questions or comments or 10% rates you want to get rid of, I guess. 339-1140. 1-800-920-1140. You can text us at 441140. He's John Fodder. I'm Jeff Tarbell. This is Talkin Money. We'll be
right back.